Weekend in the Sky Bet Championship, possibly of the season so far. It appears that Teixeira and Middlesbrough have parted company. He has not travelled with the squad. He's not here at the Valley for the game against Charlton. Steve Agnew takes charge of Borough today. Let's hear from him now. He's been speaking to David Craig.
Steve, clearly Teixeira isn't here today with Middlesbrough. You find yourself with the title of caretaker manager. Are you able to throw any insight into how that situation has come about?
No, I think the club have made a statement, and I think we've just got to respect the wishes of the football club and just prepare for a football match.
We understood that Aito was preparing for the game, did expect to be here today. As we say, clearly isn't. What input, if any, has he had into team selection today?
Well, as always, we prepare thoroughly all week, really, and this week's been no different. So there's lots of work gone into the game, and it's just another game for us to focus on.
At any football club, a situation like this would clearly have an effect on the players. What can we expect from your players in terms of performance out here this afternoon?
I think they've just got to go out and express themselves. I mean, we were disappointed with the performance the other night, and throughout the season, the players have always bounced back. And it's just a game that I think there's certainly a reaction has always been there, and hopefully we'll see that again today.
Wish you well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, again, for those who don't know, it appears that Teixeira stormed out of a team meeting with the players on Friday, said they don't have the desire, said they don't have the desire to go along to the Premier League along with him, that he's not going to coach them again. Ian Holloway and Chris Powell alongside me. Ian, just what are your thoughts on this? Because it seems as well that the players have said, we've heard this too many times before and we don't want him back. That's what we're hearing.
Well, the weird thing for me is who are the players speaking to? Is it the chief executive officer? Is it the chairman? I really don't know. I thought Middlesbrough were run brilliantly. I think the chairman deserves success with the money he's put into the club, and it's heartbreaking for me because Aito's a really nice man. I wanted him to do very well, and he was doing very well. They're second in the table. Just because you've lost a game or you've lost the impetus a little bit, you've still got 10 games to go. I really don't understand it, and this is the sad side of football for me.
We are hearing that Teixeira wanted to come back, but it was the hierarchy that said no. What are your thoughts on this, Chris?
Well, it's a real difficult situation at such an important time for the football club. Lost the playoff final last year. They were top only a number of games back. They're still in a really, really good position. Now, for this to happen now, I'm sad to say I can't see a way back for Aito. A good man, as Ian said, and a very, very good coach. But obviously something's come to a head, whether it's the pressure that he can't handle or whether the players themselves are fed up with his management style. That will come out in the wash. But I'm really disappointed for Middlesbrough, their fans, because they want to be in the Premier League next year.
Ian, do you think this would happen to Chris Hughton, to Sean Dyche, to Steve Bruce?
No.
Is it the pressure?
Those managers have done that before. We spoke a few months ago about, I think the team with the advantage is with the group of players knowing your manager has actually done it before, so whatever he's saying, he'll help you through this hurdle, and until you've done it, the pressure builds. And when you look at Middlesbrough, the size of the club, the amount they want to do this, the amount they've spent, even Jordan Rhodes being bought the other day, was that the player they wanted? Was that the one? Was it Ross McCormack? So all of these things come into it, but deep down, I expect teams to have a bad run, and they have. It's how you bounce back from that, and really you've got to stick together. Sometimes, Chris will tell you, you have a meeting and you want to get the lads' reaction, and you want to tell them, and they have to take it on the chin like we used to. And these days it doesn't seem to be like that.
It doesn't, but if it is the case that there's a bit of player power here, how much do they need to win today?
Well, they have to win because of the way Burnley are going as well. And Hull slipped up yesterday. It's a perfect time for them to get a result and get 3 points. But I'm just disappointed in what's been going on the past week at Middlesbrough. He may have had the meeting just to get a reaction, but now it's almost as if it's counterproductive.
And 3 changes Steve Agnew's made. Do you think they're his changes, or is this the team that Karanka picked?
We don't know. Listen, I think he's made a few changes there, and we'll have to wait and see. You're dancing with the devil sometimes as a manager if you leaving out senior players who are Middlesbrough through and through, and you're not winning. The secret is that if he'd have won without those players in the team, Grant Ledbetter's back in, Stuart Downing's back in, and Jordan Rhodes is back in. So, let's see how they do today. And I'm sure those players will have a step in their stride if they were falling out with the manager and his. But to me, my manager, whatever he said, I would die to do what he said. Really, I think that's the sad thing about football. It's changed.
The game seems that it has changed. OK, Borough not quite in a great moment. I think it's fair to say Charlton are in a worse one. Let's hear from their head coach, Jose Riga, speaking to David Craig.
How important is it today that your players focus on what's going on the pitch rather than what may happen off it with your supporters?
Yeah, I repeat always the same to my player, and I just try to do the same myself and with my staff. I mean, we are here for the sportive aspect, and we have to be focused on our job. And happen what happened all around the pitch is our reality. I mean, and our own focus. Because I don't want to go in some explanation about the situation or everything. No, I'm just here to do what I'm still hoping is possible, is to avoid the relegation. So just focus on our job. Be professional independently of all the circumstances.
Well, the fans are so unhappy with the way Charlton is being run right now. A mock funeral procession has gone on this afternoon. A possible sit-in on the pitch on 60 minutes. A possible mass walkout after 74 minutes, which is the number of goals conceded this season in all competitions. Chris, as a former player and manager of this great family club, how has it come to this? The last 10 Championship home games, they haven't won. The last time was 127 days ago against Sheffield Wednesday.
It's a real sad and slow demise of a fantastic club that was almost a model that clubs looked up to. What's happened now in the past 2 years since I've moved on, they've had a number of managers. The fans feel there's no communication between themselves and the new owner, new board. They'd like to know what direction they're heading. They're not being told why not, and now the fans are fed up. They're absolutely fed up. There's been so many different voices, there have been so many different people coming in and out of the club. There's no infrastructure, it's all gone. So many people have left, not only players but staff, and now the fans are actually saying, we've had enough. We actually want our club back in some shape or form. Tell us what your intentions are for our great club.
Black and white balloons are protest as well, but what was it like when you were manager here? What was the communication like?
Well, I had 2 months with the present owner, and I knew from my very first meeting, I can tell you as I sit here now, that I wouldn't be here much longer, because his plans, his thoughts of how to run the club, recruitment, how to deal with players, how to deal with the fans. I said to him, I think you need to know what this club is about before you go along that route, the route you're planning. And I basically knew he wouldn't want me as his manager.
And what did he say to
that way? Well, he was upset, but so was I. I stood my ground. I stood my ground for the players. I stood my ground for the football club, because that's what I felt was needed.
6 managers in under 2 years, does that say it all? Yeah.
Well, it's more than that. Chris knows a lot about it, but they've had 18 different members of staff, and the thing that's upsetting for me, you knew what Charlton were about, you really did. They had a hard time, they lost the ground, they got it back in the end, and but they always had a sprinkling of young homegrown people coming through the club. You were one of them, do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, I don't know what they're doing now. Some of these foreign owners, with the way they want to run their club and bring over, standard liège players. I mean, I didn't even hear of any of them at the time. For me, the local Charlton people will be distraught.
I remember the Back to the Game Valley very well indeed. I played on it. OK, well, Karanka out, home fan protest. It was already a big game for both sides. It just got bigger. Your commentary team, Danny Higginbottom and Daniel Mann.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. We expected this game to take place against a backdrop of discord and disunity, but the storm clouds have gathered on Teesside as well as here in southeast London over the past few days. The headlines regarding fan protest and anger with the Charlton hierarchy subsumed by the ongoing drama at Middlesbrough Football Club. The well-oiled Borough machine has been spluttering and stuttering in recent weeks and maybe simmering tensions have played their part in that. What can they produce without the guiding hand of their head coach, Aitor Karanka? Well, Jose Riga has put the emphasis on pace in his Charlton lineup today. 18-year-old Ademola Lookman spearheading the attack, continuing his remarkable rise from Parks football. Callum Harriott, who grabbed both goals in their win over Brentford last week, moves inside from the right to play alongside Lookman. Harriott, a player Riga admires greatly. Back in is the vastly experienced Frenchman Alou Diarra in midfield from Bayern, Liverpool, and a cameo role in a World Cup final in the past. He's now in the thick of a relegation battle. There are borough recalls for Jordan Rhodes, nephew of caretaker boss Steve Agnew. No team has suffered more at his hands than Charlton Athletic down the years. Stuart Downing, whose recent omission has been a bone of contention, plays, and Grant Ledbetter is back to captain the team, having sat out the last 2 games. Well, no Seaman Mackinock for Charlton today. He's ill. Yaya Sanogo's suspended, so Reza Gurchanajad is their most attacking option. Borough have 4 full internationals on their bench, with Nugent, Stuani and Forshaw stepping down after the Rotherham game. Well, expect the unexpected today, it's fair to say, at a less than happy Valley. A compelling Sunday afternoon in prospect for Charlton Athletic and Middlesbrough, and it is live next.
Everyone loves a game changer. Let's start with the Rabona. That penalty. That moment we really started to celebrate. 2000, the Galacticos, Tiki-Taka, and now sports betting has its own game changer. Spin and bet, a chance to increase the odds times 10. So your bet at 2 to 1 could go to 20 to 1. Spin and bet, from the newest name in sports betting, BetStars.
Focusing first of all on matters on the pitch today, Danny, giving Rotherham a chance to look at the up-and-coming talents of Ademola Lookman.
Oh, without question, he's quick and direct. I would expect Charlton to sit deep and then get balls over the Middlesbrough full-backs, and Lookman to run onto them and get at the 2 centre-backs. And as for Middlesbrough, Gaston Ramirez is a genuine number 10 who looks to dictate play. Sometimes teams will put 2 players on him, so it's up to the players around him to try and find space.
An interesting week for the popular Middlesbrough chairman, to say the very least. And the precise status of Aitor Karanka still to be resolved. Matters, I'm sure, will be resolved as the week progresses. He's still head coach of Middlesbrough, looking on from home today. Well, it's debatable whether matters on the pitch will hog the headlines today, but it's Charlton who have got the game underway, a game which could potentially be disrupted in all manner of ways, and first of all it has been by a flurry of black and white beach balls. Well, there have been all kinds of rumours about what may happen around this game here today. A lot for referee Darren Dedman to think about, but a barrage of inflatable black and white balls. They staged, as you may have seen, a mock funeral outside the ground for the soul of the club, as they would put it, and encouraged supporters to wear black and white to create something of a funereal atmosphere. Much of it directed towards that lady, Catherine Mayer, the chief executive. The day-to-day voice, if you like, of owner Roland du Châtelet at the club. This is one way to make their point. I do recall a game up at the Stadium of Light where one beach ball made a huge difference for Sunderland against Liverpool in the Premier League. But you just cannot go on with the game with that number of balls in the penalty area.
And I think the referee, Darren Dedman, you know, he's right. He has to referee this game in a particular way. He's got to make sure, you know, that everything is right to continue the game. And from the players' point of view, it could be a very much stop-start game, and that's where the mentality comes into it. And they just got to be ready for whatever is thrown their way.
Literally. Well, we've had over a minute delay already. well, you get the sense that it will be difficult to settle into a rhythm here today for all of us. Well, just as they clear them, some of them are coming back. Card is the coalition against Roland du Châtelet. The distinctly unpopular Belgian owner, and a few have crept back on in the corner of the field. And that's 2 minutes and counting. Well, we are prepared for almost everything here today. Referee about to restart proceedings. I can certainly understand the Charlton fans' frustration with the way things have turned for their football club, and they're determined to seize this opportunity to make their feelings felt before a worldwide audience. Well, Jose Riga keen to see his team get some rhythm back. 4 points from the last 2 games, although a point at home to fellow strugglers MK Dons was certainly a disappointment. As he put it, he didn't see what he expected, he didn't see what he wanted. Well, 3.5 minutes of disruption. He could be here for a while today. Dale Fry, one of the youthful central defenders for Middlesbrough. We shouldn't forget that Ben Gibson's still only in his very early 20s. All his experience. Talking of experiences, Alou Diarra, who, for all that, will surely have never seen anything quite like what is in prospect for him here today. George Teixeira. Ledbetter. Gaston Ramirez, who's made such an impression in recent weeks. It's forward by Motta. Escaped Callum Harriott's clutches. Gordon Cousins in strongly in what could be a competitive battle with Grant Ledbetter today.
I don't think any question about it. Ledbetter will always try and get the ball from the 2 centre-backs to try and get Middlesbrough moving forward. And you can see Cousins early on in the game trying to close him down, so you can't dictate the tempo of the play.
Well, those who's come through the academy, Cousins, and been with Charlton Athletic since the age of 12. Emilio Nsue, and here's Adoma moving back to the right-hand side today. Here's George Friend. Highly acclaimed left back, and he's making good progress here. And Jordan Rhodes is hunting in the middle, swept away by Teixeira.
Fantastic play from Friend, in my opinion, the best left back in the Championship, no doubt. The link-up that he has with Downing as well. Downing will play very narrow, create the space then for Friend to get into, which he did magnificently well then. You see the link-up play. This is great play from him. There's a good ball into the box as well. Been good defending in the end, but that's what you're going to get from both fullbacks from Middlesbrough. They will give the width going forward for them.
Nick Pope has got the shirt back ahead of Stephen Anderson, who's been ruled out with a couple of little injuries in the last few games. It's Dale Fry. No return yet for Daniel Ayala to the heart of that Middlesbrough back four, with plenty of controversial talk about the nature of his injury or otherwise in the build-up to the match. It's a very interesting press conference Aitor Karanka gave the other day. And this could be very interesting for Middlesbrough too, with Adoma given a bit of a gift by Diarra, who's battling to win it back, but not wholly successfully.
beyond Lookman. Two teenagers together there, Lookman and Fry.
I think it's one of the things that they could struggle with, Charlton. Height-wise up front, obviously, we used to see Mackinock around about 6'8". But with the two centre-forwards now, Lookman and Harriott, and playing long balls up to them, they're going to find it very, very difficult to win the ball in the air.
Just remind you, Mackinock ill today, so not involved at all. Teixeira, the Portuguese. Goodmanson. Got there ahead of Dale Fry there, and here is Yoon. And Morgan Fox. Cousins. Oh, can Lookman get there first? Well, Emilio Nsue with a crucial intervention there for Middlesbrough. Joyce Teixeira. Fox. It's taken a little bit of stick this season from the Charlton supporters. I mean, probably not many who have escaped that this year, understandably. Here's Harriott. Cousins. Downing able to steal that one all day long. Well, he masterminded an escape last time he was here at the Valley. The odds stacked heavily against him achieving that again.
No, they are, but he will be encouraged by the link-up play between Lookman and Harriott there. You know, one dropping a little bit deeper, trying to play the 1-2, and ended up being good defending from Nsue, but they both got fantastic pace. So if they can get one of them on the ball, try and bring one of the centre-backs out, they could create space in behind for the partner.
Fox will get there. Here is Lookman. And Goodmanson. Hanging out on that right-hand side, eased off it by Downing, but fair and square. Ledbetter. Well, Steve Agnew, the stand-in Middlesbrough manager for the moment, is second spell at the helm. He filled in after Gordon Strachan departed the club 6 years ago. Lost both games in which he was in charge. Well, the seemingly soon-to-be outgoing head coach has his supporters. They were in a really difficult situation when he was pitched into the job. I recall doing a game just down the road at Millwall when they were only a couple of points above the relegation zone, and they got a crucial win that day, which was a real launch pad for them.
Well, I think if you look at them attacking-wise, you know, defensively they are sound. But I'm sure one of the things that Agnew will be saying to the players, they should be scoring more goals, because going forward they are fantastic. They are players that can create, players that can score goals, and maybe that might mean, you know, taking a few more chances and taking a few more risks defensively, because like I say, going forward they should be up there with the best one in terms of scoring.
Ledbetter intervening, but here is Yoon. Foul on Marco Motta by Adam Clayton.
That's ended up being good play from Motta, getting forward from right back, and he'll have near enough that right hand side to himself, you know, to get into, because Goodmanson will play very narrow. It's a good opportunity now for Charlton to put the ball into the box and really test the Middlesbrough defence.
Well, can Goodmanson conjure a bit of quality here, the Icelandic international? Goodmanson's kick, Diarra hoping to get on the end of it, Fry did, and so does Yes, there are many ways of getting the message across, are there not? And Geppetto has been busy in his workshop overnight.
Strange thing about it is I've actually got bigger noses than some of them.
The thought did occur. Here's Clayton. Lookman lively. Ben Gibson. I'm pretty sure he'll be the more vocal half of that central partnership for Middlesbrough. Gaston Ramirez. Seeking out Friend up against Motta. Corner to Borough, and well, opportunity to test a very well-known Charlton frailty here.
Well, in recent games in particular, they've been very, very vulnerable to the set pieces, and this is a real good opportunity. You know, the players that can deliver, the likes of Downing and Ledbetter.
Right in front of the fans' sofa. One of the recent innovations here at Charlton. It's very comfortable too. Downing and Ledbetter conspiring. Here's Clayton. Downing's delivery is more than useful, but defended. It's Rob Fanny who got his head to it. Here's Adoma. And Fanny again. Back in by Ledbetter. Here's Marco Motta, who was part of Watford's promotion campaign last season. He hadn't played a senior game since the end of last season until he pitched up at Charlton a matter of weeks ago.
Well, he has got a big job on his hands at right back, because Goodmanson, he is playing on the right side, but he's playing very, very narrow. So what's happening is when Middlesbrough are going on the attack, Downing's coming in very narrow. Motta's going with him, but Friend is then going and playing near enough as a left winger. So it's important that Motta gets hold of Goodmanson and just says, listen, you've got to come back. You've got to either track Downing if he goes, or Friend, or I've got 2v1 against me every time.
Goodmanson has been used to a lot of the time this season playing just off the front. We'll get a bit more of a defensive mindset. Teixeira, one of those acquired from Standard Liège, no longer linked to the Charlton owner. It's Fanny, former French international. Jose Riga, very respected individual. He worked with AC Milan's young players for a spell, was invited to do a bit of coaching at Real Madrid by Jose Mourinho, a temporary spell.
I think what he has to do, especially in games like this, you know, everybody knew that there was going to be certain things that would happen within the crowd, and he's got to make sure that his play's right mentally, because the one thing that you don't want players to have is an excuse. You know, things like this can happen on the pitch, and it is what it is, and he's got to make sure that his players don't switch off if and when the next time it does happen.
Well, one thing that he has been trying to do, and clearly with varying degrees of success, is get the players to focus on their own performance rather than the context surrounding it, and that might be as important as ever here today.
I think that it is, and one thing that I know from a player's point of view, a lot of the time, you know, sometimes if there's been a poor performance, sometimes players can look at excuses other than what should be the main reason, which is the footballing side of things. And for me, the minute you go on a football pitch, you forget about anything that's going on in a football club behind the scenes. It's 90 minutes of a game, and it's you against your opponent. So that should be something that can never be questioned in terms of using as an excuse.
Here's Gibson. Diarra. It's Morgan Fox. Towards Goodmanson. Adoma finding Nsue. On for Adoma again. Away by Teixeira. Not quite as testing a moment. So he swept it away from an arriving Jordan Rhodes moments before. This is Downing. Was that a foul by Lookman? No. Downing thought it was. There's been a lot of speculation, and that's all it is, about how much Stuart Downing's recent omission from the starting lineup was a factor in the events of this week. I have to say the Middlesbrough players looked extremely relaxed and happy with life when they arrived at the ground here today.
I think it is another situation where, you know, for players, they want to go, they're playing out on the pitch, and regardless of who the manager is, regardless of what the situation has happened off the pitch, when you get on that football pitch, it's 11 players versus 11, and that's the way the Middlesbrough look at it. I look at the Middlesbrough team, look at their squad, and they should be, you know, within the top two. There's no question about it. They've got some fantastically talented players.
Nsue. Even Steven.
The game hasn't really got going yet. No team is in charge at the moment.
Cousins trying to make his presence felt there on Clayton. Here is Friend. Goodmanson was with him for a moment. Potter shackling him illegally.
He did well to get away from Goodmanson initially. And Motta just eased him out of it. There could be no arguments there.
Friend's ball, Teixeira's head. Cousins. Here's Clayton. Rhodes. Oh, Ramirez might fancy one here.
It was good build-up play. It's a good strike from Ramirez, but easy enough for Pope. But that's what you can't afford to have. Middlesbrough had a good bit of possession, and Ramirez found himself in a fantastic position, and Charlton can't allow him to have that time and space on the ball.
Delightful goal made the difference against Wolves last week, 1 of 2 in front of our cameras. We're seeing a lot of Middlesbrough in the coming weeks. Harriott losing out. Here is Adoma. He has been in sparkling form recently. That could be very useful for Rhodes. Pope swiftly read the situation.
The problem they had here, though, you see one of the centre-backs, Teixeira, he's pushing out, but Fanny stayed in. You can't do that either. The two centre-backs have got to go out together, or they stay back together. There needs to be better communication there, because they're the balls that Rhodes loves to get on the end of.
We've used a lot of players this season, Charlton, and some of the partnerships and understandings are not as well developed as would ideally be the case. Morgan Fox, one of those who has been in it for the long haul this season. But, the other 3 members of today's back 4 relatively recent arrivals. Cousins. Opportunity here, Goodmanson. George Friend stayed with him, retrieved possession and turned what could have been a threatening moment into one of promise for his own team. Nsue. Here's Adoma. Gaston Ramirez. Downing. Fox with him. Charlton conceded 16 goals from corners this season, including all 3 in their recent defeat at Fulham. It's a vulnerability, there's no question about it. Dale Fry climbing at the back, but so too was Rod Fanny. Fry, and now Clayton looking to take over. Grant Ledbetter will pick it up. Ramirez. Adoma looking to combine. Oh, Diarra got a foot in, but Ramirez will take it on. Whistle blew. But where from? I don't think it was the referee's whistle. Well, it fooled me, it fooled Gaston Ramirez. And now Darren Dedman, I'm sure, will want that to be investigated.
Well, it will be, but I think it was another one that was mentioned before the game. Supporters bringing whistles into the ground, and it's worked in Middlesbrough's favour.
Goodmanson struck it well, but Konstantopoulos behind it.
I'm sorry, should I say Charlton's favour. That's good play from Charlton there going forward. Great opportunity, good link-up play, good strike. Well held from Konstantopoulos. A good strike from Goodmanson. That's what he wants to do all the time, that right-hand side. Drift inside on his favoured left foot.
He doesn't have a habit of cracking them in or from outside the box. Fine strike against Preston recently. Got to play to the whistle, the Charlton fans chant. But whose? Here's Cousins. There's certainly some full-blooded challenges. Peace will soon break out. It's Ben Gibson he's talking to.
You can see Cousins initially has the ball, loses it, and then he's trying to win it back. Gets into a little bit of a scrap with Friend and then Clayton, but that's what you're going to get. Teams down near the bottom, they're going to try and scrap their way out with it. You just see initially he loses the ball there, then he tries to win it back. Initially on Friend, and it's not the greatest of challenges, that first one on Friend, as it is. And it's probably fortunate. There the referee Darren Dedman hasn't taken any further action, because it's a reckless challenge, the first one on Friend.
That could be interesting. Another whistle going off at that precise moment, and well, this could well lead to another disruption here, because the referee cannot control the game if people are being confused by rogue whistles of all kinds.
Well, we saw it again with Ramirez. He didn't know whether to stop or carry on there, and it's a difficult situation for the referee, because when you've got the whistles in the crowd, like you say, you want the players, you say play to the whistle, they're hearing the whistle and then they're stopping, so it's just another one to add to the ongoing list of different things that are happening today.
Ramirez, Cousins in the way. Well, you think you've seen everything and heard everything at a football ground, and then you encounter a day like this. Thankless task for referee Darren Dedman in many ways. Here's Diarra. Well, won it from Gaston Ramirez. Goodmanson in. Here's Dale Fry. Emilio Nsue trusted with this right back role on a very regular basis now. Only a handful of starts in his more attacking position, his more accustomed position. Teixeira's header, and here is Fox. Here's Ledbetter now. Ramirez. Well, can Rhodes get there? Fox ensuring that he doesn't. Downing. Ledbetter might fancy this. Struck the arm of Diarra. George Friend. Motta and Goodmanson between them, able to tidy up. This is Cousins. Goodmanson to bring it away. He won't get away from Ben Gibson. Challenges going in with feeling.
There's some great challenges going in from both teams, and they're both getting up and getting on with it. Cousins and Clayton. If we look at these ones, see Goodmanson, say the first one, and then Cousins finally ending up with Clayton, but neither manager will be bothered about things like that. That's what you want to see, you know. Midfield, that's where you're going to have the battles. Whoever usually wins the midfield battle then goes on to win the game. That's what both sets of midfielders are trying to do at the moment.
Well, there's so much surrounding this game that it shouldn't detract from just how important it is for both teams. The Borough victory would move them 5 points clear of third place. And Fanny's got himself into trouble. It's Adoma. He's able to tidy up on that occasion. Goodmanson, though, potentially could have felt the squeeze there. Here's Clayton. Yoon, who's arrived from Queen's Park Rangers. Settled in midfield, known more generally as a full-back, but every game he's started this season bar one has been as a midfield player. Not that he started many for Rangers either.
The problem that Charlton are having at the moment, you've got the two centre-forwards, Lookman and Harriott, but they're becoming quite isolated because the two wide players, Goodmanson and Yoon, they're near enough playing as full-backs, and it's near enough a back six for Charlton because the two full-backs from Middlesbrough are getting forward so much, so they can't get a foothold in the game going forward.
As Borough could hear, it's Nsue. Now Yoon. Cousins found a way out to Lookman. George Friend getting there first. We described him earlier as the best left back at this level, and we're far from alone in that view.
I think he's a very good player. We know how important now full-backs are. You know, going forward, they're usually giving the width. And like I say with Friend, he wouldn't look out of place in the Premier League one bit.
He's already had a taste of that as well. Remember, he played in a very controversial game for Wolverhampton Wanderers at Old Trafford when Mick McCarthy made 10 changes to his team and actually came very close that night to giving Wolves a surprise lead. Here's Ledbetter. Rhodes. Adoma. And Diarra for Charlton. Harriott with Ben Gibson in close attention. Dale Fry. There's Harriott. Goodmanson, just promising. Did so well there and looks for Lookman, which is never a bad idea. Can Fox get there first for Charlton? Indeed he can. Yoon, Goodmanson. Cousins. It's Motta. Well, they don't have, as Goodmanson takes a swing at it, they don't have that great aerial option today that Mackinock provides them.
No, they don't, but once again, from Charlton going forward, it was good build-up play, but Lookman and Harriott, what they are doing, one is dropping short and the other one's going longer. And time again, if they do it right, there will be opportunities in behind, because whichever centre forward is dropping off, one of the centre halves is going all the way in with them. So there is space. And the likes of Lookman and Harriott, they are going to be quicker than the two centre halves, Gibson and Fry, Middlesbrough. And if they can just make that right pass, well, there will be space down one of the centre backs.
Well, that was a painful one for Johan Goodmanson and indeed for George Friend, who's walked away.
As the ball comes in, it's nasty looking clash of heads. Goodmanson's come off worse. Friends felt that as well. There's no intention for either player, just both going for the ball. And that's, I think that's been, if we get back to the footballing side of the game, that's how it's been. No one's been pulling out a challenge, which is what you want to see. In the midfield area as well.
It's just really epitomised the commitment on show, and there'll have to be plenty of that on Friday night as two of the major contenders lock horns. Middlesbrough against Hull Friday night from 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 1, and it's Derby Day in Derby on Saturday as they welcome Forest midday, Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports 5. Ben Gibson getting some treatment. McCarthy and Terry Connor in attendance to cast their eyes over forthcoming opponents in Charlton, who they beat here quite emphatically in front of the cameras back in the autumn. Indeed, they've got a tough-looking run, Charlton. I mean, it really doesn't bode well for them. Sheffield Wednesday next. They've got Birmingham, Ipswich, Derby and Brighton on the horizon. QPR have certainly picked up recently. Bolton perhaps with a lift to their spirits after events off the field there as well. Leeds emphatically back in form. Rhodes slipped in the middle. Ramirez. Here's Yoon. Goodmanson away. Friend. Motta. Cousins and Ledbetter together. Diarra. Gibson getting the grips with Harriott. Quite a few felt unfairly. No appeal from the Charlton front man. Diarra taking a swipe and being penalised for it.
He's looking to get into these advanced positions, and he's done it a few times now. Looking to try and get beyond the midfield of Charlton.
Well, helped on by Adoma. Teixeira's head on it. There's a bit of grappling going on in the build-up to that free kick between Morgan Fox and Jordan Rhodes, with the counter on here for Charlton, and it's Goodmanson leading it. Yoon, Harriott and Lookman up. Motta's arrived as well. It's Harriott. Here's Cousins. There were some promising situations Charlton have managed to manufacture. Harriott again, trying to wriggle the space.
Nice good play. This initial one, you could see exactly what they wanted to do. Harriott finds a little bit of space, but he can't keep it down. But when they are going forward, there's been some good interlinking. Yoon tucked in, he wanted to play the 1-2 with Harriott, but Harriott wasn't on the same wavelength. But going forward, it's been impressive. And one thing I would say about Middlesbrough, usually they keep themselves very defensively strong, but at times they're leaving themselves 2v2 at the back, the two centre halves against the two centre forwards for Charlton.
Which could prove a dangerous game to play. What a very good recent record against Charlton. Middlesbrough unbeaten in the last 9 between the two, and haven't lost since 10 years ago yesterday, when Darren Bent was the man who made the difference with 2 goals in the Premier League. They were reliving some of those glory days on the big screen before the game. Cousins, really powerful burst from him, but the ball won cleanly by Clayton. Ledbetter trying to make progress, but Rod Fanny in swiftly and emphatically. Certainly some players with pedigree out there for Charlton, particularly Diarra's, which is unsurpassed amongst those on the field. Though he never actually played a game for Liverpool or Bayern Munich, they are on his CV. Some Marseille and Bordeaux though as well. It's loose. Clayton intervening to very good effect for the second time in a couple of minutes. Here's Ramirez and Sui. Adoma, Rhodes at the back post, Motta away, but only as far as Downing. And Sui. Clayton. And he couldn't quite grow enough to get a convincing head on that. Ramirez. Back for Ledbetter. Downing. George Friend popping up at the back. Rhodes is in there, and Fanny and Teixeira almost got themselves in all kinds of bother there.
It's a good ball in from Downing. Friend getting in at the far post. Great header back. You see complete lack of communication between Teixeira and Fanny, but thankfully for Charlton, it just went into Pope's hands and Rhodes wasn't able to do anything about it.
Two defenders at the back there with the Champions League experience for Charlton. Commentating on Teixeira, playing for Maccabi Haifa in the Champions League against had Juventus in their group, and Bordeaux and Bayern Munich. Guess where they finished? It's not difficult. Here's Downing.
Clayton.
I think what Charlton have done well defensively, they're near enough playing a 4-5-1 when they haven't got the ball, but they're keeping the back four and the midfield five very close together. You know, because if them two get separated, you know, your defensive four and your midfield five, that's where the likes of Ramirez like to drop into, get the ball and turn down in as well. But they've done that, and they've done it very, very well so far. And Middlesbrough haven't had the joy, and they haven't had the space to create things that they would like to have.
What do you think his impression of this first half will be?
I think the thing is, for Middlesbrough for a long time now, you know, more often than not, if they get that first goal, there's only going to be one winner. But they've been frustrated at times. They haven't had that many chances. Charlton have defended well, and I think from Charlton's point of view, they will be hoping that Middlesbrough start to, you know, take more men forward, because they want to get that win, and then that could leave gaps then for the pace of Lookman and Harriott in behind.
I'd be stretching it to say they've done very well against the big teams, Charlton, but they have a notable bias in where some of their victories have come. 4 of the 6 so far against top half teams.
Well, I think the thing is, when you're playing against the teams that are up at the top, the onus is on them, whether you're playing home or away. So that enables Charlton to sit back and then maybe play on the counter-attack themselves, and they have got pace going forward, and that's what they'll look to utilise, I think, even more so in the second half.
Here's Nsue. Doma got there first. Fry. Teixeira on the end of it. Ramirez. Nsue. Adoma. Nsue's cross, and Rhodes has potentially got himself free. Pope stepping in. Five added minutes. The start of the game disrupted by a flurry of black and white beach balls from behind the goal to our right, as part of the protests against the Charlton ownership here today. Gibson on the stretch. And Nsue only find Fox, but that will be a foul by Gaston Ramirez.
It's good play from Charlton, you know, pushing high up and then making sure the full-back Fox that he can get there before Ramirez. I think one of the things with Charlton, we talk about Rhodes, the centre forward for Middlesbrough. We've hardly mentioned his name because Charlton are playing so deep. There's no real space for him to try and play off the centre backs and get in behind.
You still count the number of touches Rhodes has had on your fingers. Lookman's free kick, and swept away by Dale Fry. And that potentially invited needless trouble. Fry. Ledbetter. Clayton. Nsue wants it. Popped up in a rather unhelpful fashion for the Borough right back. Yoon looking to exploit the fact that he'd made that foray forward.
That's the spaces where they can get into if the pass is right. You know, we've talked about the two full-backs, Friend and Nsue, looking to get forward at every opportunity. That's where there will be then space down the sides of the two centre-backs. But the pass has to be right. And as of yet, more often than not, when the ball's gone forward from Charlton, it's been straight down the middle. And that's where Middlesbrough is strong. They've got to look to get down the sides more.
It's Downing. Nsue. Well, that's whipped in dangerously. Oh, remarkably, it stayed out. I think Pope worked a miracle there. It was Rod Fanny's header, which was flying towards his goal.
First of all, it's a fantastic run from Nsue. Great ball in as well. And as you've just said, Fanny's tried to get it out of harm's way. He's only got it to Pope, and that is a magnificent save. And you can see Fanny's gone straight to him to thank him.
Goalkeeper under pressure. Oh, and it drops behind off the head. I think it was Diarra.
Now, this one is an absolutely fantastic save. I'm not too sure how much he knew about it, but he was in the right place at the right time.
Downing completely free has now been spotted by Lookman on the edge of the box. And Pope can take the pressure right off, but a crucial contribution from the Charlton goalkeeper, preserving their clean sheet for the moment. A strange first half in rather watery, wintry southeast London sunshine. Fry. Downing climbing well. That's Teixeira. Offside. Well, he does have an enviable record against a lot of teams, but 11 goals in 13 matches against Charlton, and scored in the last 4 matches in which he's faced them.
I think it's something new for Rhodes. He's used to playing in a two, playing in a partnership. Now when you've got to do that role on your own, it becomes a little bit more difficult and something you have to adjust to.
Yoon. Cut out by Fry, and that is the last act of a first half which has been more about balls and whistles than chances, but Nick Pope in the Charlton goal producing a wonderful save to prevent them from going behind at their own hand. The head of defender Rod Fanny had put them in serious risk of trailing at the interval, but Jose Riga walks down the tunnel with his team level. Steve Agnew's side struggling to make a major impression. At the break, it's Charlton 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Yes, great save from Nick Pope. With or without Ita Karanka, though, Middlesbrough just not been able to impose themselves on Charlton in that first half. We'll hear from Ian Holloway and the former Charlton player and manager Chris Powell in just a couple of minutes' time, where the home fans let their frustrations know at the start of the game. But they can be pretty happy what they've seen so far. Just as much to talk about off the pitch as on. Half-time here at the Valley, no goals between Charlton and Middlesbrough. Chris, does it look like second versus second bottom at the moment in the first half?
No, it doesn't. I would say Jose Riga will be quite happy with the performance of his players. It does look as if Middlesbrough have been affected by what's gone on. I'm sure Steve Agnew will be saying that to them right now, because there's more to come from them for sure. So Charlton will be quite happy where they're at the moment.
What have you made of the Boroughs players' performance in that first half, Ian?
A little bit quiet, a little bit subdued. You know, it's a little bit the way their form's been going. I haven't seen an upturn in it, I can assure you.
Now, you gave Nick Pope his debut, didn't you? You signed him.
Yeah.
Made a wonderful save in that first half.
It's an outstanding save, and just what most keepers do when they're not that busy during a game, all of a sudden when they're called upon, they make a save like this. I mean, it's an outstanding save, a good movement by Downing and Nsue, good ball in, almost an own goal. His body's going one way and he reacts to it wonderfully well.
I think that's a fantastic
great
save.
reaction.
Look at this, Chris. We said just now he knew he was going the wrong way and just deliberately left his knee there. Is that right? He was a farmer. You found him as a farmer?
He was, yeah. Ben Roberts, the ex-goalkeeping coach, found him and trained him up, and he's got a career as a goalkeeper for sure.
Brilliant.
Do you feel the whistles and the balloons and everything that's gone on in the first half has affected the game as a whole?
A little bit, yeah, it's affecting us now, isn't it? So I'll talk a little bit louder. Shut up. Yeah, listen, you can understand how football supporters are, but really, I'd like to say it out loud. You're a supporter, so try and support, and then eventually there's right ways. You shouldn't do this in a football match.
There's a whistle here that everyone thought was the referee's whistle.
Yeah, but look at that. That's actually maybe got your team a bit of an advantage there. That can't be right. They're not blowing it in the other end.
Chris?
Well, I mean, Ramirez is playing to the whistle as such, and you always say that to players. And of course, he was stumped, nothing happened, and I don't like to see that. I still want to see a game of football, and to do things like that, it shouldn't happen.
This is a game that you don't play to the whistle.
What do we play to? What do we play to now?
Some news, though, and some sad news coming from Nottingham Forest, is that Dougie Freedman has been sacked. What's your response to that?
Flabbergasted. I mean, it was only recently. I know they've lost a few lately, but it's a tough division you're in, and you know he's about halfway. They had a great run, 13 games without defeat, and it's just such a tough competition. People have got to realise that who own these football clubs.
Just over a year in charge, February 15, he was appointed.
Yeah, I know Dougie very, very well, and what I'm sad about is he had such a good run, and just when he needs that support, he doesn't get it. And really, that's where you need it the most, because, of course, everyone can be happy when you're not losing games, but just when you have a bit of a tough time, that's where you want the support, and sadly, he hasn't got that.
It is a very tough division. More on that over on Sky Sports News HQ, but don't go anywhere just yet, because we expect a little bit more from this game in the second half on the pitch. Standing boss, Borough boss Steve Agnew once more. Jose Riga would love a win. Well, 0-0 between Charlton and Middlesbrough. This could be an interesting second half in more ways than one. Let's get back to Danny Higginbottom and Daniel Mann.
Yes, I think he's got to be prepared for whatever may come. Charlton protests certainly would like a wind of change to sweep through the boardroom here at the Valley. Well, more whistles. Well, it was beach balls at the start of the first half. It's whistles and the odd beach ball at the start of the second. Now the beach balls are coming on in number again, but it won't stop proceedings. Here is Gibson. Downing. Now Rhodes and Friend. Downing delivers potentially threateningly. It's Adoma. Yoon able to step in. Middlesbrough attack accompanied by what sounded like a desert at night. Rhodes hoping to latch onto it. Run for the goal kick. Well, not everybody agrees with the nature of the protest.
That's the thing, it is going to split supporters, there's no question about it. You know, the supporters that are doing it, they believe they're doing it for the right reasons. You know, they're not happy with how their club's being run, but then you're going to have others that are going to say, well, it's going to affect the players on the pitch. So there's no right and there's no wrong way, and you have to respect people that are doing what they're doing.
Just to preempt things a little, there is a walkout planned on 74 minutes. So it's the number of goals Charlton have conceded in all competitions so far this season, and I recall having covered the Liverpool-Sunderland game where the walkout made the desired impact from the Liverpool supporters that it did divide opinion, and there was a bit of edge amongst those who wanted to watch the game, and whilst those were walking out and getting in the way of them watching the game.
That is the thing that's going to happen, because the supporters, they come, they pay their money, they believe they have a right to do what they feel is the right thing to do for the football club. So as we've just seen, there are supporters that won't be happy with it, but in these situations it does become very much each to their own.
To wonder what a certain Belgian and Châtelet is making of all this wherever he is watching the game. Ramirez away from Motta. Adoma hasn't yet fizzled out. It's Clayton looking for Ramirez here, who can always make something happen. There's Cousins in the way. Clayton. And Suey. We're second-guessing every whistle at the moment, but I think that was the referee's.
I think it's safe to say that today, I don't think any players are going to get booked for not playing to the whistle.
And that certainly isn't the referee's whistle. Here's Diarra. Yoon. Adoma. Back in his native South London today. Having had his own personal fallout with Aitor Karanka earlier in the season. Really making a terrific impression in this Middlesbrough side. But not yet today. This is Motta for Charlton, who've conjured the more promising moments in general so far, although Nick Pope, the only goalkeeper that's been seriously worked, however much he knew about that crucial save. That's Teixeira. Morgan Fox. The Essex boy who represents Wales at international level. Pope, bright and lively again. He's had to show great alertness in a couple of situations. He's found Lookman here. Yoon. Cousins. Alou Diarra. Pressure on Fanny, and there's Teixeira who's given it away. And how costly could this prove to be? It's Adoma and Jordan Rhodes. Oh, but Motta got the challenge in. And it all fizzled frustratingly out for Middlesbrough when there was a real opportunity there. Advantage played. Motta is still down, but here's Harriott. Has he got the timing right? It's Lookman, but Nsue will see it away.
This is the earlier chance for OGC. Adoma, he just has to take that touch and Motta gets back. I think what he needed was the ball from Adoma to have more pace on it, so he could let it go across him and get the shot in. But as of yet, it's not been Rhodes' day. He's not really had anything to play for the moment.
Nicely taken by Downing. Adoma's arriving, Rhodes is in there, but Pope able to gather. And just a sense Middlesbrough moving into a higher gear in the game in general. Yoon. Goodmanson. Motta. Goodmanson. He's done So well there as Harriott. Goodmanson. Loose and Ramirez able to latch onto it. He gave Fanny more of a chance. Well, some nearly moments for Middlesbrough in this second half. That's Cousins. And there's another for Charlton.
I think what we're starting to see now, the game really starting to open up. It's going end to end, and that could actually favour Charlton, because what we've seen in the last few minutes is the likes of Cousins driving from midfield, Harriott and Lookman actually being able to get the ball and turn, because the midfield of Middlesbrough are pushing that little bit higher up. So as much as they are maybe a little bit vulnerable at the back, Charlton defending, I think when they get the ball forward, they could have some good opportunities of their own.
Hoping today that Middlesbrough can join Hull and Sheffield Wednesday in the admittedly fairly short list of high-profile scalps they've taken here. Dale Fry got there. This is Adoma. Rhodes. We have the flag in his mind, I think.
Did look like he could have been offside, but first of all, it's good play from Adoma. Fantastic run from Friend. See him going on the overlap now. Gives Adoma that extra second on the ball. Plays the ball, and I think if anything, probably Motta the right back, which is though he could be playing him onside.
Here's Adoma. Certainly becoming a more prominent feature in the game, but it's pretty unceremoniously dealt with by Harriott. Cousins. Harriott again. George Friend doing his job. Keep it in play. And thumbs up from Jose Riga. Well, he would say that there's been no lack of will and commitment, and there have been games where they've deserved more than they have got. It's a pretty familiar refrain amongst the managerial fraternity. It's certainly shown potential here, without really worrying Dimi Konstantopoulos. Here's Lookman. Chance to strike it maybe. Now Harriott. A touch of over-elaboration, it's Motta. Adoma. A chance to break away, but Rod Fanny was always favourite. This is Motta. Yoon. Cousins! Came off Ledbetter.
Well, they're starting to get more space now going forward. Sandman Cousins again joining in from midfield. He's getting forward at every opportunity. It's a fantastic block from Clayton to send it wide for a corner, but it's much better from Charlton now, looking much more dangerous when they're going forward and getting that extra bit of time on the ball as well, because Middlesbrough are a lot more open now as well.
Well, Teixeira! It could be a critical goal for Charlton. The Portuguese with his first for the club, and on a day of rancour and protest, a goal that could be massive in their bid to stay in the Championship.
Well, it's a fantastic header. He just gets on the wrong side of Gibson. The initial run, he goes one way then the other. Gibson gets caught in front of him, and the minute that happens, you're onto a loser.
A goal that will be celebrated with equal vigour in Hull, Burnley and Brighton. A couple of spectators on the pitch at the moment. Well, this is a little unfortunate. There was much talk of a planned pitch invasion on the hour mark. And there are those who feel that the protests can be taken too far today, and in most eyes I'm sure seeing an example of that there.
I think the protest that had gone on so far, wasn't anything too much affecting the pitch. Oh yes, okay. The game had to be stopped for a little bit to get things off the pitch, but this is what you don't want to see. You know, your team's just taking the lead as well. Could be a vital goal. You know, and like I say, I think in these situations, that's not what you want to see on the football pitch at all.
Well, Charlton have the edge. Well, until that moment, the protests had a hint of humour about them, or more than a hint. All good-natured. I'm sure we could say precisely that about what we saw from the lone invader. Here's Adoma. On for Harriott. Lookman's up with him. Cousins on the scene as well. Harriott really carrying the fight there for Charlton.
Oh, it's fantastic play, but for me, the man that has changed this game in Charlton's favour has been Cousins. His surging runs from midfield have been fantastic, and then what you're finding is the two forwards, Harriott and Lookman, they're getting on the outside now of the two centre-backs, because the full-backs in Middlesbrough are playing so high. Far better now from Charlton. They're looking so much more dangerous every time they go forward, because they've got players with pace that will create and cause a lot of problems for the Middlesbrough back four.
Well, Teixeira was in there again. Oh, and Dimi Konstantopoulos in a bit of bother. Here's Fox. Will only fall at the feet of Clayton. Teixeira. The ball was a secondary issue there. I was going to say he'd be fortunate to get away without a booking, but he has received one.
He knows exactly what he's doing here. He knows he's not going to win the ball, but what he's trying to do is stop the Middlesbrough counter-attack, and he's done that and more. He's got a booking for his troubles.
Come from behind. Florida beat Wolves earlier in the season. Adoma. He's away from Motta. Over the head of Jordan Rhodes. Here's Yoon now for Charlton. Cousins. Driving forward, it's Harriott. So he got a telling touch from Ledbetter, and now Ramirez, but he's robbed. Cousins always wanting the ball. He's not getting it at the moment. Harriott. Oh. Well, through the legs of Fry, who recovered. Ledbetter. And Middlesbrough's progress has been faltering in recent weeks. They've been spluttering and stuttering, some difficult days on the road. I do wonder how crucial the events of this week will prove to be.
I just think on the pitches, in terms of the style, there's been no spaces in behind, you know, for Rhodes to get into. Even if the ball's coming up to Rhodes and he's wanting to flick the ball on, there's been no room for runners to get in behind. Charlton have got that spot on so far, and it's up to that man, Steve Agnew. He's got to try and change it. He's got to try and make it a little bit more difficult for Charlton's back four. Maybe get Rhodes to just drop a little bit deeper into midfield, see if one of the centre-backs will go with him, and then get a runner going beyond, because at the moment I think it's too easy for Charlton to defend.
Jose Riga now with a degree in computer science, worked in IT for 20 years, and he's on the right programme today. Dear oh dear. Here's Fanny. Motta. And Sue, Lookman. Here's Goodmanson. And just a bit of zip, spring in the Charlton step, and Cousins has found Fox. Cousins, who was plucked from the clutches of Arsenal as a 12-year-old. His dad rang Steve Gritt asking for a trial. And the rest, as they say, is history. Adoma fouled by Diarra, who is going to get a yellow card. Back on the side today, he's had his issues, a back problem and an infected toe.
It's good play from Adoma, great first touch. Got the better of Diarra. And like with the Teixeira booking, Diarra's just slowing down the play, making sure that he's not taking himself out of the game and giving his team a breather for a few seconds so they can get back into shape.
Hard man to stop by legal means, Adoma, at the moment. A little bit of stardust from him would come in handy for the Middlesbrough cause. Downing back in the side today, looking for something here, looking for Rhodes. Corner is the verdict. That hasn't gone down well. Away by Diarra. And Sue. Just gave Harriott a glimmer there, Fry, but, well, he couldn't get away from it. And looking for Lookman, but Nsue dealt with that. Clayton. Nsue. Ramirez foraging here for Borough. Up against Teixeira. Now Downing with a chance to deliver. Good handball. Bale Fry has made his way in there. And Fry almost, well, he did get there.
You can see Adoma, he's free, and then Fry's as well. And lack of communication at the back for Charlton. You can see why they have conceded so many goals from set pieces. And Fry, that's a great opportunity. He should be putting that into the back of the net.
Oh, we're looking at that. Jordan Rhodes booked for this. Not quite George Best and Gordon Banks. For those of you who remember all that. A yellow card for Jordan Rhodes.
Quite as old as yourself.
Downing. Rhodes onside. A bit of trouble in that respect, Charlton, today. Teixeira. Clayton. Downing. Clayton again. Harriott after him. A bit a little loose, but Nsue will only find Lookman. The long chase with Callum Harriott, who certainly putting a prodigious amount of work in. Ramirez. Away from Cousins, into Rhodes, now Adoma. Here's Friend. Adoma's ball. Well, the banners are plentiful and they all carry the same message. Roland de Châtelet, the owner, and Catherine Mayer, the chief executive. That pretty comfortable in the Championship last season, seemingly destined for relegation to the third tier again. A fate from which Chris Powell in our studio extricated them, winning promotion. Here's Harriott. Cousins. Now Ramirez. Oh, by Alou Diarra. Well, day of great potential for Borough today if they can claw this back and get a victory. Only 5 points clear. In dangerously by Friend. Can Downing pounce? Fox did. Forward by Gibson. Fanny's header, it's Adoma. Oh, let rip! Pope is there again. Ramirez, Adoma. Oh, so fleet of foot, but over the top it fizzes.
It's been some last-ditch defending from Charlton, not the greatest of headers out there from Fanny. Good save initially from Pope, gets it out of harm's way. And they try to find a little bit of space, Adoma does. And hits it wide, sorry, high.
Well, delving into their considerable resources on the bench, David Nugent and Christian Stuani, their top scorer in all competitions, about to enter stage left. Here is Downing. We're hearing Downing is going to be withdrawn. Here's Ramirez. Adoma's arriving. Ramirez, Clayton. And now here's Nsue. Morgan Fox in the way. Well, they got away with one at a corner earlier. Nsue's cross struck the arm, and it will be a free kick. Goodmanson guilty.
They did initially switch off. They wanted to play the short corner a bit earlier. Middlesbrough would have given them more time and space. You see Goodmanson, arms clearly there, having the handball, but another opportunity for Middlesbrough now. The delivery is right from Ramirez.
And Gibson certainly not too thrilled with Marco Motta's presence. And Darren Dedman wants to have a word here, and understandably, it's just complete nonsense.
And it's mainly Motta holding on to Gibson. You have to be careful there, because the referee now is straight away just going to be drawn onto Motta. That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be keeping his eyes on him, and if he does it again, he could well give a penalty.
Fizzed across and Pope able to turn it over.
He's done well, Pope, because I think he will have been expecting a cross, like the majority of the players will have been doing. Just got out of harm's way, but another opportunity for Middlesbrough from the corner.
Expect the unexpected from Gaston Ramirez. Ledbitter's delivery, and Pope might be in a spot of bother. Certainly wasn't goalkeeping a great conviction coming into all that traffic. Well, the changes are going to come, and it is Jordan Rhodes whom David Nugent is going to replace. Did start together at Blackburn the other week. There has been plenty of column inches on Teesside dedicated to the idea of them playing together on a regular basis. Stuani also thrown into the fray. And as we trailed for you, Stuart Downing departing. And as Middlesbrough make progress, it is about time for the scheduled walkout. Oh dear. Well, Fox certainly felt that from Clayton. Busy on to treat Morgan Fox. Well, that is the yellow card you might have expected.
It's a poor challenge from Clayton. Very poor challenge. I've no arguments about that whatsoever for the yellow card. And there's a sense of frustration now starting to build for Middlesbrough because they're not having it their own way. They really need to get a goal to get back into this game as soon as possible if they want to try and win it.
Well, some are taking their leave of us, heading for the car park as planned, as part of their continued day of statements and protests against the ownership here. Did you get a scythe in here?
I think just looking at the substitutions now for Middlesbrough, what you'll find with Nugent, he'll be more of the one now. He'll look to drop into them deep areas, try and create space in behind.
Whoa, and here's Stuani. Motta didn't get there. Adoma. Plenty in there for Middlesbrough. Ledbitter's delivery, and Gibson and Friend rising at the back. Oh, Gibson's done well there. Lashed away by Motta. Certainly not what Nsue wanted. And able to deal with it. Friend rising. You. Plenty of bustle there from Lookman, couldn't quite find Harriott. Going to make a change shortly, Charlton, and they're getting Reza Guchanajad ready to come on. George Friend. Away from Goodmanson, but not from Cousins.
It's a great challenge from Cousins. He's been all over the pitch. He's been a real standout player for Charlton this afternoon.
Yeah, terrific contribution in this second period in particular. A bit of pain for the cause. His commitment has been very boldly demonstrated. And it's the young man Lookman who departs. Plenty of Premier League eyes on him. And Reza Guchanajad
making his entrance, the Iranian international and talented violinist, of course. Here's Adoma. Teed up for Leadbitter. It's Stuani. Clayton certainly got hold of it.
It's good build-up play from Middlesbrough. See Adoma, to Stuani. Leadbitter falls nicely to Clayton, but he's just not able to keep it down.
Not a day to remember for the right reasons for Middlesbrough. Is it going to be a third successive away defeat? Yoon. There's Guchanajad. Goodmanson. And here's Guchanajad. Yoon. Goodmanson. Oh, well, Guchanajad was tugged. It's Harriott. Harriott again! Finishes it. Once and for all. Well, a day when he has certainly made an impact, and when Charlton have done themselves a power of good down at the bottom.
And they never cleared it. Middlesbrough, you see, there's an initial block coming up in a minute. They built it really well down the left-hand side. And the initial block from Leadbitter. But what is Fry doing? He's trying to take a touch in the wrong area. Great build-up play. But then when it comes to Fry, first and foremost, you've got to clear that. You've got to give full credit to Harriott. He's a centre-forward. He's not standing around. And he thankfully puts the ball into the back of the net. And you've got to say, Charlton, the way they've gone about things in the second half, full of energy, full of endeavour, they deserve that.
Well, carded for his celebration. A moment missed by many of the Charlton supporters, with other battles to fight, as they would see it. But Middlesbrough's fight for promotion is really faltering. So he finished it once and for all. Remember, Rotherham also down at the bottom produced a remarkable comeback against Derby yesterday. They were 3-0 down after 82 minutes and got a point. Harriott. Adoma. Now Emilio and Sue. Clayton. Rod Fanny on the end of it. And Sue. Ramirez. More Leadbitter.
It's great defending once again from Charlton. You can see Middlesbrough trying to get plays getting beyond the back four of Charlton, but at no time this afternoon they've been able to do it, and that's when Middlesbrough really struggle. You look at some of the results against the lesser teams, especially away from home. The teams that sit back against them, Middlesbrough very, very rarely, get any joy out of them because of the simple fact they're a possession-based team. They have been, under Karanka, and it's sideways and backwards. Whereas the opposition, they allow Middlesbrough to have the ball, sit back nice and deep, and then they wait, and then they look to get down the sides of where the two fullbacks from Middlesbrough have vacated that area.
I mentioned Rotherham. It was Rotherham, of course, who defeated Middlesbrough in midweek. That's a late Lee Frecklington goal. Not turning fortunes they have had under Neil Warnock. You shouldn't be too surprised about that. Stuani's head. Fanny, Yoon.
And the thing is with Middlesbrough as well, especially away from home, when they do score the first goal, I think they've done it 7 times. They've gone on to win 6 of them. Conceding first away from home, though, I think they've done that 8 times and they've only won 1 of the games. And that's the thing, because when they do score that goal, it then gives them the right to play how they want to play. You know, whereas when they do concede first, teams that do score against them will just play deeper and deeper and play even more so on the counter-attack against them.
One game when they did pull it around was at Wolves back in the autumn. Friend. Scored first against Derby County, who came back and got a point right back at the start of the season. That's a blot on that particular landscape. Although a point at Derby not to be sniffed at. Oh, and Stuani helped it on.
He's done everything right there, Stuani. He needs runners going to the far post. You'll just watch the flick on from Stuani, all watching it. You can see Friend, you see Gibson and Fry. They gamble. There's going to be a flick on there. One of them could be getting on the end of it and put it into the back of the net.
Well, Manchester City fluffed their lines yesterday in the title race. Can Leicester tighten their grip against Newcastle with Rafa in tow? 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 tomorrow night. Of course, we all knew that would be crucial in the title race when the fixture computer produced what it did back in the summer. Odoma. Oh, and Nsue was arriving. Goodmanson. Harriott. There's too much of Cousins in the end. That he really has been on it this second half.
It's been a performance full of energy. Charlton, they've just not let Middlesbrough settle. They've not allowed them to have time on the ball, which is what they want to have. They've not allowed them to dictate play. And I think when you do look at the other teams that are around there, you know, your likes of Burnley, they do have a plan A. If it isn't working one way for them, they can change things. Whereas Middlesbrough, you know, they have fantastic plays, but they have one way of playing. It doesn't seem to me as though the manager's been able to adapt and say, right, things aren't going our way and we're not getting time on the ball, we can mix it up a little bit.
Doma. Let it run, but it's Motta who's able to steal in. But Clayton Pleasing won it back. His Friend. Ramirez. Diarra having to be careful on a yellow card. It's Clayton. Nugent. Come to grief, only briefly. Happily.
That's a good ball. From Clayton, you see exactly what he's trying to do. Nugent's got his hand up. Ball comes to him, but he just can't direct it back. Falls nicely into the hands of Pope.
Callum Harriott's getting some treatment here. Just contribution in the second period. That goal taking him into double figures for the season. There aren't too many around here today who can say that. 7 of them during a decent loan spell at Colchester in League One.
I think you have to say, you know, the manager, Jose Riga, I think he's got his game plan absolutely spot on so far. He's not gone with high up front, he's gone with the 2 smaller players that are full of pace. The minute, you know, that they've dispossessed Middlesbrough, they're looking to then get down the sides and use the pace. When they sat back deep, knowing that they've got the pace then to turn defence into attack very quickly, especially in the second half.
Well, Harriott's day is over. Zakaria Bergdijk is going to come on. Congratulations all round. Vektish, the French-born Moroccan international, who's played left midfield or occasionally full back this season in general. Ramirez. Nugent! Near corner.
It's a good first touch from Nugent when the ball comes into him, just to give himself that little bit of space and time. It ended up being good defending.
Ali Diarra got the touch, wasn't it? And what can Ramirez produce here? Well, Nugent climbing.
It's a tough one for Nugent. You can see as he's heading it, he's almost leaning back. He's having to get the power onto the ball himself. He's not able to get enough direction on it. It was a tough one for him.
Such a reliable figure. Kuchanajad. Goodmanson. Confidence coursing through the Charlton veins now, which hasn't been something they've been able to count on this season. Vektish. One offside and they'll get it against Kuchanajad.
It's good build-up play once again from Charlton. I think it's wrongly called. And the left back, if anything, Friends playing him on side.
Kuchanajad a touch unfortunate as we head into 5 added minutes, as they were at the end of the first half, but this time not beach ball generated. If you weren't with us, that was one of the aspects of the protest today. Black and white beach balls thrown onto the field in the first few seconds. And Sued took it out of play. One of those. And there were about 200 of those in the first few seconds. A protest that has been generally tempered by relative good nature. But a day memorable for many reasons. Looks as though it's going to end with a very memorable result.
He'll be delighted, not him, but Riga. He'll be absolutely delighted with the performance of his team, you know, against one of the best teams in the league, and it will give his players great confidence. And the one thing he'll say to his players is, listen, look at the results you can get. If you can play like this every week, there is a chance you can get out of this relegation battle, and what a survival it would be if they were to stay up.
Stuani fell. And Fox pointing at the spherical object at his feet, but it's going to be a booking.
Stuani's just got the better of him, just clipped him. That's another chance. You never know if Middlesbrough could get one. Gives them an opportunity then to really get back into this game. A few minutes left.
They want to bring Harry Lennon on, although I imagine they're going to wait to see this through, or are they? They are going to make it, and Goodmanson, who's lined up in the wall, is going off. So they've got to get their communication right on that. Harry Lennon, who was suspended after, by his own admission, a rather daft sending off against Preston. Fizzed in, Pope. Well, it probably came back up a Middlesbrough head. And out off Cousins. Pat on the back of the goalkeeper from Rod Fanny. Cousins who was there. And when hasn't he been there for Charlton today? Here's Bergdish. Oh, away from Ramirez. Kuchanajad is up with him, so is Cousins. Cousins now!
He epitomises Charles' performance. He's clearing it one end and then getting the shot for the other end. He really has led by example as the captain this afternoon. Been absolutely immense.
He's got the club in his heart as well, having been here for so long. With Arsenal sympathies, I'm told. Here's Fry and Sue. 4 in the box for Borough, one of whom is Ramirez. But he was beaten to it by Alou Diarra. And Cousins is motoring, just glided away there from Clayton. Bergdish. I'll win it back from Nsue now. Charlton very much, you would imagine, now over the line. Thanks to that kind of work. Here's Adoma. Fanny making that his. Yoon. Free kick in Cousins' favour. And we're now just waiting on Darren Dedman as to how much more time will be played. Well, they've got a lot of ground to make up still at the bottom, Charlton, if they are to claw their way out of the desperate trouble in which they find themselves. One offside against Kuchanajad, it doesn't come. Well, a bizarre and at times surreal day ends in a memorable victory for Charlton Athletic, which gives them a little bit of hope amidst the protests against the owners and the general situation. A little bit of hope that they may yet be able to survive. But it's a result that will be celebrated just as heartily by the likes of Burnley, Hull and Brighton and others. Teixeira pouncing with an emphatic header to give them the lead from the set piece, and the always lively Callum Harriott finishing the job in the second half. For Steve Agnew, the stand-in Borough coach, not a day to remember. Aitor Karanka's fate surely to be sealed in the week. But nothing is sealed at the bottom yet, and Charlton have given themselves a little bit of hope. A thumbs up and a smile from the chief executive, Katrin Mariner, on a difficult day for her, no doubt. But let's get reaction from the victorious Charlton Athletic camp with David Craig.
Callum, Jordan, many congratulations. Well, it's a game that had everything: beach balls, whistles, pitch invasions, but perhaps most importantly, a Charlton victory.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time since we obviously got our first home win. From the start, all the atmosphere was a bit crazy, but we stuck at it. All the boys worked hard today, and we dug in. I was obviously happy to get a goal today. Congrats to Jordan, being a skip today and guiding the team. Worked really hard, and it's a great win for the club.
Jordan, you were skipper today. What was your message to the boys in the dressing room before you stepped out this afternoon?
We knew it was going to be difficult because we heard what was going to be happening, like the first whistle. But we stuck together and we just, stuck to the game plan. Everybody was professional and we got the job done. How affected were you by those whistles? It was a bit of a shock at the start of the game. We don't expect that, but like I said, we stayed professional, stuck to the game plan, and it paid off today.
Callum, it's 3 unbeaten now and 2 consecutive clean sheets, the first time you've done that this season. Is this the start of the Charlton fight back?
We do hope so. You know, every game we're going to go into it, you know, full. Every game we're going to really give it our best. You know, I think it's important as well that we have to stay on it. If we're going 1-0 down or if it's a 0-0, we have to keep going. And I think that's what we've done today. And great win.
Jordan, just finally, the fans have made their feelings known. The players have got them a result. Is it time for you all to stick together now between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, of course. You know, it was a bit upsetting seeing what happened at the first whistle, but you know, most of them stuck behind after the game, and you know they got to keep sticking behind us because we got a chance and we can stay up now.
Well, well done to both of you. Jordan, you are the Sky Bet man of the match. Callum, do the honours.
Well, it really was an incredible victory for Charlton. Going into the game, second bottom, 8 points from safety, up against the team second top. Protests all around, and yet they get the win. It won't appease the fans completely, of course. They've certainly made their point today, but they can go home happy. 5 points from safety now, and who knows, if they can have a couple of weeks in the way that Rotherham have had recently, then maybe they can just survive. 9 games to go. At the top, Burnley won yesterday. You could say they're the winners today. In midweek, they were the only side to get a victory in the top 10. And after Hull and Middlesbrough dropping points this weekend, Borough stay just 2 points above Hull and Brighton, 7 from Burnley. And we see Middlesbrough in their very next game. And what a game. They're at home to Hull on Friday. 2 of the teams going for an automatic promotion place. We start at 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Derby aren't completely out the race for the top 2, but they might also be looking over their shoulders and be wary of dropping out of the playoff spots, just like last season. Big game in the Championship calendar. They're at home to Nottingham Forest on Saturday for midday, Sky Sports 1 and 5. Real Madrid are in a fight with neighbours Atletico for second place rather than the title itself. They could do with all 3 points at Las Palmas this evening. 7:15 Sky Sports 1. MLS action at 9 o'clock over on Sky Sports 2. Frank Lampard's New York City up against Toronto. And can Rafa put a spanner in the works of Leicester's title bid on the Monday Night Football? Plenty to talk about there from 7 o'clock Sky Sports 1. And the new series of Modern Family returns on Sky 1 tomorrow at 8:30. Great comedy. No shot of Sofia Vergara there, but she is in it. Always nice to see her in action. Well, I can assure you that Ian Holloway and Chris Powell will not be talking about Sofia Vergara, but we will be talking about what has been an absolutely incredible game. Borough in disarray, Charlton took advantage, and a likely win in a very strange atmosphere, but 3 crucial points. It has been some day at the Valley. Fans protested at the owners inside and outside the ground. Didn't affect the players. George Teixeira put them 1-0 up against Middlesbrough. The fans were leaving after 74 minutes. The amount of goals they've conceded all season, again another protest. But it was Callum Harriott who made it 2-0. A fantastic win for the home side. Much needed as well. Jose Riga absolutely delighted. That might be champagne, not water, a little bit later on this evening. Ian Holloway and Chris Powell alongside me. The last time Charlton beat Middlesbrough was 10 years ago. Do you know who played in that game?
No.
It was you.
I didn't score, that's for certain.
That probably seems a long time ago, but just how big a win was that for Charlton?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, on the backdrop of what's been going on off the field and then what's been going on at Middlesbrough, for them to get 3 points, I'm sure the teams in and around there wasn't expecting that, and fair play to them. They were easily the better side today.
Ian, how did you see the game?
Yeah, exactly. As Chris said, to watch it, you wouldn't know which team was which. You know, Middlesbrough were definitely all over the place, to be honest. It is quite a shocking day for all of us to you know, when you're second in the table, you might lose your job. So it's all a bit weird. But today, on the football field, Charlton, you've got to praise them. I thought they had energy, they were up for it. You know, whatever happened around them, they were probably deserved it by maybe another goal as well, I felt.
And they had a great set piece. It was a great corner as well as the header, wasn't it?
Terrible marking. This is so unlike Middlesbrough. This is what I'm trying to say. I mean, Teixeira does ever so well. He uses his strength, but if you watch it, there's only one fella ever going to head this. Look at him. He's made it his. Bang. That's so unlike them. And look at the body language. This is what we're not used to. We all thought they were going to run away with it a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago when they beat Brighton. But look at their body language. When this ball goes in, how many of their shoulders drop? And that was what my big thing I used to say. You can't go like that because you've got to get back up to go again. You've got to show strength. And I don't believe what I'm seeing.
In terms of the second goal as well, it looked as if the body language had gone. They thought they were going to lose the game, and it was really poor defending. It looked like they were waiting for a whistle from the fans.
Yeah, maybe they were, but fair play to young Callum. He's come in, good skill there on the edge of the box. He was actually involved initially. Good pullback, and then just here, they'll get rid of it. You're in your 6-yard area. You need to clear your lines. 1-0 down. You can still get back into the game. And Callum's lively, reacts to it, hits it on target, 2-0.
Could easily have been a penalty, Ian, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Callum does brilliantly because he struck it and he's on the move still. But, you know, that defending is just, what's he thinking? And to me, it looks like they've lost their focus, you know? They've lost their leader, they've lost their focus. Where are we going? And in the Championship, you get little spells where you've got to come over those bumps in the road. And you've got to come out stronger, but together, and they haven't done it.
3 in 3 now for Harriott, and fair play to Jose Riga, who actually brought him back and has given him playing time.
Well, he's lively, he's infectious, he's a player I know well, gave him his debut, and he's had a good loan. So he's been unaffected by all what's gone on with the change of managership. So he's come back and he's shown everyone exactly what he's about, and he could be, alongside Lookman, they could be just 1 or 2 players that could get them out of it. Middlesbrough were flat and insipid today. They really were. And they took advantage. And a young player like that, with 9 games to go, who knows?
He's played under a few managers in his time. Let's hear from the present head coach at Charlton, Jose Riga, speaking to David Craig.
Jose, congratulations. Just how big a 3 points is that for Charlton at this moment in time?
So important, so important. We were looking for a win. We get one 2 weeks ago, but at home. It's very important in this kind of context. Again, this kind of team, which is a very good team for sure. But yeah, we did exactly what we want. I mean, we have an idea, we have a game plan, and the players were just great. Working for each other, but not only working, they did well. When we have the ball, anytime we try to create opportunities, and we did it. And of course, we have to do also our job defensively. The last 10 minutes, quite normal regarding the situation. But anyway, I'm very happy because any game I have to make some changes in the teams. Not always easy to have some automatism and to have some global idea behind the team because we change a lot. But when the spirit is there, the idea is behind, and we just go to our limits to do something, we are able to do this kind of performance, I'm sure.
There was beach balls thrown onto the pitch before kick-off. There were whistles in the crowd during the game. How difficult was it for your players to focus and concentrate, do you think, this afternoon?
It's never easy, I mean, this kind of situation, but I repeat always the same. The only answer to give is to do our job on the pitch, and of course, that's what we did with all the staff, with the player, and at some moment with all the stadium. I mean, we feel the sphere that we were looking for. I think that the performance of the player push also the supporters to be behind us, and it was the case today. So I'm very happy to get this feeling, this last part of the game when we get the win. That's what we are looking when you play at home. And for me, it's only one step. Of course, there is a lot of good games to play still now, but it was very important to give the right answer because, again, I repeat, we are at home. We didn't feel anytime comfortable. But now with this kind of performances, the way the players were giving everything on the pitch, and I repeat, not only fighting or willing, it's about football because they create some opportunities. They did well anytime we get the ball. So yeah, I'm very happy, and certainly when you think about all the players they were missing. So it means when the team think the same, want the same, share the same idea, repeat always the same, you can have this kind of result.
It's 3 games unbeaten now. The first time this season you've kept consecutive clean sheets. Do you believe that you can harness and keep this momentum going?
we are looking for, as you use the right word, momentum. I use it also before the game just because that's what we are looking for, and we are working each day of the week because, you know, I'm not somebody who will complain about the circumstances or mistakes of the player. I'm just looking for solution. I'm more focused on solution than on complaining. So that's what we did the last training, and we have to work hard again, because it's very important in our situation to be able to keep a clean sheet for sure, because then you get the good feeling that you are staying in the game and you can always get an opportunity. That's the story of football. So I'm happy with this kind of performances. We will enjoy all together today, and tomorrow we think the next game. That's the way to work.
We wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Well, credit must go to Jose Rica. He probably feels he's between a rock and a hard place right now. He kept Charlton up. He's done it before. Can he do it again? These are the remaining fixtures. I don't see too many easy games there, but off the back of this one, can they do it, Ian?
That's tough. I mean, they're 5 points behind. They're minus 34 goal difference, which is almost equates to another point. That's 6. They got to win 2 more games out of that lot than anybody else above them.
What do you think, Chris?
Tough ask.
It's a real tough ask for them. A real shot in the arm of confidence today, for sure, which will allow them to go to places like Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich, knowing that they can compete, but it will be really tough because all those teams there are virtually playing for either getting in the top 6 or trying to stay out the bottom 3.
I think it's fair to say the fans have made a statement about their feelings towards the owner and the chief executive today. Do you think it will work?
Well, what needs to happen is, of course, the players and the supporters need to be together, but more importantly, there needs to be a synergy between the owners and the supporters, so they're all in sort of have a real understanding of where they're going as a football club. The players today have done absolutely fantastic. They were first class in and amongst all what was going on with the whistles, with the beach balls, but there does have to be a solution to this. There has to be.
If you're the owner, can you carry on with this?
If he was here, I honestly don't know. It's how it's being portrayed to him. I think that's the big problem. You can't. How can you commit to something if you're not there all the time? You're relying on someone else, and really, we've already heard from Chris, and it was a very difficult thing for him to face up to, but he felt straight away after meeting the man he wasn't going to be the manager because he had his firm own ideas. So really, just get together and make sure that you're committed. Everybody deserves to be committed behind their football club, and you know, I've seen it with Blackpool this year. It's really tough for the supporters.
I'm sure he believes he made a mistake in doing just that, but what is the short and long-term future of Charlton?
Well, the short term is to try and stay up. That's the immediate aim for this football club. The long term is only a question only he can ask.
A great win for Charlton, a big loss, of course, for Middlesbrough in their fight for going straight up in an automatic promotion place. When we come back, we'll hear from stand-in Borough boss Steve Agnew. And Middlesbrough have lost 2-0 here at the Valley. Let's hear from not Ita Karanka, but Steve Agnew. He's been speaking to David Craig.
Steve, clearly a disappointing afternoon for you. It's been a disappointing week as well. What's your view?
Yeah, obviously the game today is the disappointment. You know, first and foremost, we've conceded 2 goals. You know, and we've been generally poor throughout the game. So yeah, all the players are majorly disappointed.
You've lost 2 games in a week to teams in the bottom 3. You've lost 3 out of your last 4. Are Middlesbrough in the midst of a mini crisis?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, the season is 46 games and we've got 10 to go. So, you know, we look forward to what we've got to come. There's a massive game next Friday against Hull City, and we'll be, you know, all the players will be ready and focused towards that game.
Things haven't been going so well on your travels of late, so how important is it that 4 of your next 5 are at home?
Yeah, I think you know, our home record is good, and you know, the fans and the big support that we have will push us on in the final stretch. So we're all looking forward to it.
You're 7 points behind the current leaders, Burnley. You still have a game in hand. Are you still optimistic as a squad and a club and a team that you can make automatic promotion?
Absolutely, yeah. This league is relentless, and it just keeps going and going and going. And there'll be lots of twists and turns as the season progresses. And you know, we have got a really strong group, a really good squad of players, and we'll continue to push forward from next Friday night.
Just finally, it has been a difficult week for the club on and off the field. Just how important are the next few days ahead for Middlesbrough to sort your season out?
Well, it's not just the next few days. I think we're all aware of where we want to go this season and what we need to do. So it's from now really. We'll be ready this week and build up to Hull, and then obviously once we go into an international break, then we'll finish the season off strong.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
Ian, he says Middlesbrough are not in a mini crisis. He's going to say that, but are they?
Yeah, they are, yeah. And it happens throughout the course of the season. They've been really, really good. They've had great spells, outstanding spells. But the mini crisis to me is losing a manager of his ilk and how well he's done so far at this crucial time of the season. I think you'll find stability right now and belief in the squad and a togetherness, which you need right now. You can't just drag someone else in. It just doesn't work that way.
So what do you feel about the solution is then, Chris?
Well, obviously Steve Gibson and Aitor have to have a very long discussion about moving forward, whether it is with Aitor or not. Personally, I think it should be. But a lot has gone on. I'm sure there's more to it that we don't know about. But they need to have a solution, and very quickly, because their season is disintegrating in front of their own eyes, and really after last year losing in the playoff final, I'm sure they felt that this year buying someone like Jordan Rhodes and investing would be their year, and at the moment it's looking like it won't be.
Aitor Karanka signed a new contract at the start of the season, new 4-year. Steve Gibson said it was the best signing of the summer.
Yeah.
So what does Steve Gibson need to do here?
Something's gone wrong. Something we don't know about has happened in between the lines. It always is. As managers, we know that. There's always things that you can't tell people. But really, this is not good for the future of Middlesbrough. I don't believe this is good. Somewhere between the management, the players, because they're the cold face. That's what you're on about. You get there, you dig in together, and you go through hard times. And Steve Gibson never betrays his manager. He's never done that. That's why he's such a good chairman. But, Aitor, I don't know what's happened. We don't know. We could all speculate. Really, Middlesbrough need to shake themselves down. Those two men need to sit together and try and sort out what the problem was. Because if it is some argument, sometimes that's healthy. Healthy conflict. Through disappointment, you come out stronger the other side. That's what life is. And if you want anything out of it, you have to put your hand in the fire. That's what I found out in life. You have to have people around you who will grab that out the fire and say, that's mine. Now, have Middlesbrough got that?
Perhaps there's not enough people nowadays that are willing to do that, but how big is the Hull game coming up next?
So it's the last game they wanted, but they're going to have to deal with it. It's a bit like Charlton today. I'm sure they didn't want to be playing Middlesbrough, but they dealt with it, got the 3 points. Middlesbrough will have to dust themselves down, get ready for the whole game. Massive game.
Chris, as always, great to see you. Pleasure to be in your company. Ian, same for you too. Thank you very much. OK, well, what a game it is. We are back for a massive game in the race for the Premier League. Middlesbrough against Hull, all the build-up from 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. And then on Saturday, lunchtime, it is Derby against Nottingham Forest. Midday, Sky Sports 1 and 5. On next on Sky Sports 1, it's all the weekend's goals in the Championship, League 1 and League 2. Well, what a day we have had. A draw in the West Midlands derby. Charlton got the win and the fans got the protests. Borough lose without Aitor Karanka.
We had that thing that everybody wants. Good time in a heart that'll be feel strong. Make me a believer, make me a believer, make me feel strong. Make me a believer, make me a believer, make me carry on. What happened to the blah, blah, blah? What happened to the blah, blah, blah? Tell me what happened to the blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah! Blah, blah, blah. Can't forget about the blah, blah, blah. Don't you forget about the blah,
Enjoy Sky Sports Live. On all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.
Charlton